Welcome back to our channel.
There are many adjustments that you are going to make, positions that you have held, fixated on certain things that were so in the past. But you have to relearn, unlearn, and relearn new things to be able to enter into the new. Because it tells us in Mark chapter 2 and verse 22, it says, "You cannot pour new wine, no man putteth new wine into old bottles, or else the new wine will burst the bottles, and the wine is spilled, and the bottles will be made or destroyed. But new wine must be put into new bottles." Jesus was saying the problem is not with the supply of the new wine. The issue is we can't pour new wine into old bottles. In other words, if you are walking in the pride of the strength of your old, you are not going to subject yourself into that process. So what happens is then God looks for people who this is their first time experiencing a move of the Spirit, because then they are still elastic, they haven't formed. So usually it goes to the younger generation that are still that way and open, and pours it there and moves it up, and then he wants to say, look, let's get some level of maturity. Let's have mature people being able to handle new wine, so at least they have institutional memory and knowledge. Well, the problem is people get fixated on that, and it's a challenge with God, for God. And then he has to look for new people again and young people. And then they get fixated again, and then he has to go again to generation. If you're going to move from that level in that graph to that next thing, it's because you learned new things. It's not that God changed. It's you that changed according to the information that God gives you. So when God was going to move to the Gentiles, he had a lot of problems with the Jews. The apostles there who were custodians of the oracles of God, because it's an issue. And that's why he sent John the Baptist first to try to shake the wineskin and to renew it, so that when he comes, they'll be able to accept that move. But they didn't. And they didn't because they were speaking about, we have Abraham as our father. They were talking about Moses. They were talking about Elijah. And even God had to use them in the time of prayer when Elijah and Moses appeared to Jesus, and he said she would build tabernacles for them, was trying to show them the superiority of Jesus' ministry. He said, no tabernacles for the other two. This is my son in whom I'm well pleased, hear ye him. He has the order. In other words, what he says is what holds now. So the wineskin has to be made flexible again, or renewed. Then again, it does that periodically, and it's called the renewal.